Are looking for an easy to use platform to start investing in stocks or ETFs? Well, today I'm going to be showing you M1 Finance, and it's great for beginners or seasoned investors that are looking to either invest passively, aka set and forget it, or invest actively. So I'll be going through the platform, showing you all the different sections of it and how to use it. Also looking at how you can easily set up your portfolio using M1 Finance concept of pies. And then stay tuned to the end because I'll give you a sneak peek on a new portfolio that I'm creating that I'll be using in future videos. And if you're here and on my channel, I discuss investing in stocks and ETFs, all with the goal of inspiring you to start growing your wealth. As I mentioned today, I'm going to be going through M1 Finance. Before jumping into the app, I mentioned a few things about M1 Finance. Primarily, it's a platform geared for long-term investments. So there is just one trading window, which is at 9:30 in the morning when the market opens. There is a second one at 3 o'clock, but that's if you have the premium version. Since there's only one trading window, that's why it's more geared to long-term investing. If you're looking for a day-to-day, there's other apps that you can use for that, so that wouldn't be what M1 Finance is designed for. And also the other thing is the concept of pies. Basically, the pie is made up of stocks or ETFs, and you're not familiar with ETF, it's exchange traded funds, and it's basically just a basket of numerous stocks. So by creating your own pies within your portfolio, you'll kind of have your own mini ETF, which is kind of cool. So let's go into the app. So once you log in, create your account, they'll ask for different personal information, your bank account, and then also to say what type of account you want to open. So you can open any one of these. You have the taxable account all the way to retirement account, traditional Roth IRA. So me personally, I have taxable and Roth IRA. Also, you see custodian down here. That's for investment account for anyone underneath the age of 18. And when plus, you can take advantage of that. The main tab is going to be the invest tab. That's the one I kind of look at day to day. And this is your view of your portfolio. So right here, looking at my dividend portfolio, and you can see up here, this ring is what they consider the pie. And you can see here all the different sections. And with mine right here, it's just made up of pies. So I have pies within pies. Let's go to consumer cynical. So I have Best Buy, Lowe's, and Starbucks. Let's go into Lowe's here. So by clicking that, you can get more information. And this was related to how your stock is doing in your portfolio. So you see here, this is how much I have invested in this particular stock. You can see the shares you have, your average price, the costs you have so far. Down here, you can see what's happening in the market. And scrolling over, you'll have a historical view of it. Right now, I'm showing the time period, not my whole length I've had this portfolio. So you can see what your gains are, your dividends, and so on. And you can also change this. Let's just go for the last month. You kind of see how Lowe's have been doing based on what your investments are. So going back to your main portfolio, you also have a historical view of that as well. So right now I'm in the month view, and you can just see what your market gains are of your entire portfolio and your dividends of that. So that's pretty cool. And also when you change the view right here, if I go to all, you can see your all time, basically your gains and your returns for all time, which is nice. You have it in this quick and easy snapshot of what your portfolio is doing. Up here, if you look at the top, we have the hamburger menu. So here are some sub menus for your investment tab. We were just looking at portfolio, going to activity here. And this is going to be a list of all your buys, your sells, the dividends you receive, the deposits you make, the withdrawals. It'll be listed right here. And you can also filter. You can filter by date or activity. So for example, I want to just look at the dividends, and you can hit done here. And there it filtered out, and you just have all your dividends. So this would be all the dividends I've received this month at the top, and so on and so on. You can reorder it too. Going on over to holdings, that'll be the next tab. And this is going to be a list of everything that's in your portfolio. So it'll be all in one place. And the reason for this is just to see, kind of organize what is happening in your portfolio. So you can, let's go unrealized gain. You can see what your best performers are and your worst performers. So right here I have AbbVie, Broadcom, and Lockheed Martin. We go down here and you can see my worst is AGNC, Intel, Verizon. And yep, so you can have everything right there. It's one swoop, so in your portfolio, you don't have to go into all the different pies depending on how you structured it. Going over to funding history. So this will show every deposit you make, a total of the deposits you made, and withdrawals, and it breaks it down by year. And it's also very helpful if you have a retirement account to see how much you have contributed so you won't go over your limits or anything. So it comes in handy in that sense too. The last piece here is your bank account. And once again, when you set up when you're choosing your type, it'll ask you for your bank account and everything to set that up. So this will be right here, and you can withdraw or deposit money in here. And there's also 2 other ways you can deposit into your portfolio, so I'll be showing those as well. And before moving on, you can see down here is where your other accounts are, and then also you can add a new one. And up here, I mentioned M1 a few times. So here's where you can get some details on the M1 Plus. You just get like smart transfers, 2%. You can get your credit card if you hit more here. You have AM PM trading, 1% checkings. So for me, the only benefit really would be the afternoon trading, but once again, I'm using this for a long term, so it's not as important. I pretty much plan ahead or do that passive investing. But you may think differently. I just don't feel it's worth $125 a year. But anyways, you could try it out for 1 year for free. All right, so that covers the whole entire invest tab. We'll go over to spend. Basically, spend is only if you have M1 Plus, and basically it's your checkings and also your credit card. The credit card you can also get separately for $95 a year. But yeah, so that's kind of what this tab is. I'll skip over transfers for right now. So now you have borrow. Borrow is just basically you're borrowing against your own investments. So it will be 3.5%. And if you have M1 Plus, it'll be 2%. Don't really recommend borrowing against yourself at the beginning. It's a little risky. But yeah, so that's borrow. And the next one is research. So I think research tab is pretty good, especially starting off just to kind of get a feel for what's happening. So here at the beginning, you have news. So this would be like current news happening within the market. So you can scroll in here, look at any other different articles one place, or you can, Google them and everything. But this will be all, one place for you. Hidden the hamburger menu here, you can see all the different sub tabs. So let's go into stocks. And over here, all the different stocks. So basically you can search for any stock you want, just put in the ticker symbol. And I did get a question on a previous video of mine what the ticker symbol was. And generally when a company is going onto the public market so that people can buy shares of that company, they have to pick a ticker symbol so you can use that to, basically find them and trade stocks on them. And generally that ticker symbol will relate to the company name. For instance, here Apple is AAPL, Microsoft is MSFT. So they're generally similar to the company name. Of course, ETFs are a little different. For example, let's just go with J&J, so that's Johnson & Johnson. If you click here, you can see basically the historical view, and you can also change the historical view of that stock. You'll get some information, current price, PE ratio, and shown here, you can see the dividend yield. You get some price based on the time frame that you have up there. You get a little snippet of their portfolio and also what the categories they're related in. So Johnson & Johnson is obviously in healthcare, and then you get news just related to that stock. So you can get some more inside look of what the company is. Moving on to funds. So the funds pretty much is the same exact way as the stocks, except instead of stocks, you're looking at ETFs here. So we can just open up VTI, for example, and here you get the market gain, the expense ratio, and the dividends for that ETF, and you get the same news. There's different, you have the price history right here. So with the stocks, you had the historical view at the top. This will be the price history in kind of sections, a little profile of what the ETF is, and the target, kind of the breakdown of what the ETF is and their top holdings here. So that covers the funds. Moving on, you have expert pies. So expert pies basically is an example of portfolios that are already put together for you, hence by experts, supposedly. So for here, let's just go, say you're opening a Roth IRA and you want to look for retirement. So we'll look at here just to get an idea. What I did when I first is to kind of look at different ways people kind of put portfolios together, just to have kind of like an idea when you're new. It's good to get a picture. And you may just want to copy one of these and set it and forget it. So let's just go to, let's just say you are retiring in 2045. So you can go here. I chose the aggressive. Right here you'll get what the risk is. So here it's medium. You can get some historical view there. And if we scroll over, you'll get all the targets will be everything included within in that portfolio. In this case, it's ETFs. So you can look here, all the ETFs are within that portfolio, so you know what you're investing in if you're gonna kind of use this sample portfolio already. Let's go look at another one. Insurance follower, we'll go with Berkshire Hathaway. And here you can see, again, you have the same kind of historical view, the risk, and then you'll have basically, instead of ETFs, it'll be a list of all stocks, so you can kind of view that as well. So that's kind of cool if you just want to kind of see what else is, what other examples of portfolio people are making. So now looking at my pies. So this is going to be basically the pies that you set up yourself, and you can create any number of pies here. So you can see when I showed earlier my dividend portfolio, I had pies within pies. So you can see here I have the communication, the consumer cynical. So if I open up here, so you basically have that pie right there. Scrolling down, you can see what portfolio that pie is included in. And scrolling over, you'll see what holdings you have within that pie. And you can also dig in and get the same information you did on your stocks based on just what your pies are, so you get the whole historical view and everything. And let's just say you want to create a new pie, just to have something example. So up here in your top right, you can hit the plus, and let's just name it, I'm going to name it, and let's call it YouTube sample. So we go here. Obviously, we have no pies, so we'll just add a slice. Let's just go for simplicity. We'll go with Apple and Microsoft. You can also choose funds here, so we'll just choose VTI. Oops, let's hit, of course, you can also open to get more information about it. We'll go with VTI, and then here's the expert pies. I'm not going to choose any of those, but you can if you would like. There's your watch list, and I just have a couple here for example, so you can choose one if you have those on your watch list. And then here is your own pie. So you can have pies into pies, and that's how I created mine. So we'll just put in the communications, for example, and you'll click done up here. So that's how you build. And there's also another tab right here, create pies. So if you wanted to offhand create pies within pies, you can go right here, and we'll just call this one test. And we just want this category to be made up of Johnson & Johnson. Talked about that. There you go. So you can add to pie. We'll just hit done here. So there's your test pie. So now you have right here. And one thing before going, before hitting save, you want to kind of partition the different sections you have. So here, since it's brand new, it partitioned everything at 20% because we have 5 different items in here. And what is important about this is that if you're doing basically the passive investing, what M1 will do is when you contribute money to it, M1 will get what your percentages that you set, and basically, let's just say with your Apple right now, Apple was doing really good. So out of your entire portfolio, it's about 25%. However, the communications Verizon has had a bad month. So instead of 20%, now it's at like 15%. So when M1 Finance goes to invest for you, it's going to say, okay, Apple's doing really well. It's over that 20% that Edwin set it as. And then I'm going to put more of the contribution into Verizon, try to bring Verizon up to that 20%. So that's what M1 does kind of work for you to keep your portfolio balanced when you're passively investing, and that's how it works. So if you want more weight, let's just say you want a lot in Apple and Microsoft versus Verizon, you would mark that out here and just have more of the weight in there. For this, I'm just going to leave, it's just an example, so I'll leave everything 20%. And you can just hit save right here. All right, and then on your list on my pies, you can scroll down here and you can see these are unused pies, and there is a YouTube sample that we just created, so it'll be right here. And if you go here, you can view exactly what we just looked at. And if you want to look at it again and dig into the pie you just created, so you can look at it anytime. And yeah, so there you go. That's how you create a pie. Now I did skip over the transfers, so let's go back to the transfer tab. Right here, this transfer tab is going to show you basically the current activity. You can see today $100 just got put into my dividend portfolio. You can also see, I think last week I got the Roth IRA set up right there. and you'll have a whole list of every deposit that got put into your portfolio. And you can also set up rules. So this is how you would set up your recurring investments if you wanted to do it offhand. And right now I have one set up for the ETF portfolio. You can see I have it paused because right now I don't have anything in there. And then I have my dividend portfolio. So this is bi-weekly. I'll just pull $100 every other week. And if I do set it up to actively invest, it would invest that as soon as it comes in. So that's what these are. And let's just create another one. So if you hit move money, you can choose to do a one-time investment. If you just want to invest, tomorrow, just put in $50 or so, or set up a recurring. So I'm going to set up a recurring for my Roth IRA. So when you do that, and this is the same for the one-time offer, you would choose up here. All right, let's see. I want to go from my Roth bank. Yep, here. Continue, and I'm going to go obviously to my Roth IRA. Yeah, so if you have different accounts, technically you can have different banks attached to them. So that's why it's kind of broken up like that. And then you choose, let's see. And you can see here the minimum transfer is $10. Now, when you're first creating a portfolio, it has to have a minimum balance of $100. But once you have $100, you can trade $10 every transfer. You just have to hit that $100 mark first. So right here for my Roth IRA, let's just do $125 every week. So you continue, and then you have your frequency down here. Now, if it was a one-time buy, there wouldn't be a frequency there. But let's just we'll do weekly, and I'm going to do Wednesdays for now. I think the middle week's good, and you hit confirm, and it'll be all set up so that it'll start pulling that every week for you, or you can do bi-weekly or monthly, however you want to do it. Now I want to go over into my Roth IRA so you can kind of see how to set up the auto investing. So we'll go back to an invest over here. Let me change to my Roth IRA. And right here you see this little tab down here. If you click that, you see deposit. You can also deposit money there if you want to do. And for the Roth IRA, it'll ask you if you want current or previous year. So you hit right here, and then you can have the auto invest on. So right now I have auto invest. So when the $100 go in, it'll automatically auto invest for me. And then it tells you it's going to go tomorrow morning. You can see here the afternoon one is blocked unless you have M1 Plus. So there you go. That's how you can passively invest. Also, to actively invest, let's go jump back to my dividend portfolio. Right now, let's go. You can see down here I have $157. I want to go into, let's just say 3M. So you can see here right up in the corner in the main or slice, so that's where you would hit, and you can have your buy or sell or view details. We're going to hit buy for now, and I'm going to put up here is how much you currently have invested in that particular stock. So I'm just going to put, let's just say $50 for now. You continue, it'll show you how much you have left for buying power, and we'll just say continue and done, and they'll be kicked off tomorrow morning. But yeah, so it'll show you when it's going to trade. If it's on Friday, it'll show you Monday at 9:30. So what done here, so right there, when you're looking in your portfolio, you'll see where something is actively trading, and right there you'll see the little green dot, and you know that there's going to be a buy or sell on that particular section. And then right here you can see upcoming trades. So if you view that, you'll see if you have any buys or sells, that's where I'll be right there. So there's your sells. Obviously, I'm not selling anything. Right there, you have your buys, and you'll have a list of everything that you're purchasing. So that goes through the whole different sections. And if you're finding value in this content, definitely let me know by smashing that like button. Now I'm going to move into creating a new portfolio of mine that I'll be using throughout future videos when I'm doing different updates. And the reason I'm doing this is, one, it's going to be made up of ETFs. I'll just show you how a little bit of investing can go a long way, especially when you're thinking long term. So you don't have to put $1,000 down every week or so. You can just put a little bit and just let it grow. Also depends on what your timeline is too. So if you're starting young, a little bit can go a long way in 30 years or so. So that's the first thing. And also I'm going to have it of ETFs, and kind of for a benefit of you, the user, it's going to be a little competition between them, so you can see which one performs better than the other, and vice versa. So right here, if you guys been looking, you see my ETF portfolio is empty. Now, if you see one of my previous videos, you know that I basically built my ETF portfolio early. earlier than my Roth IRA, and basically my Roth IRA was a clone of my ETF portfolio, so I just moved everything, all the contribution I had in that, into my Roth IRA last year. And you can see here I had high dividend and my aggressive pie that I had. And just look, I had, ETFs right there, and then my high dividends was just a couple dividends here. So if you already have a portfolio like I do here, can go to manage pie and you can do edit your pie. So here I'm going to select all. I'm just going to remove them, and then I'm going to start adding. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the 4 ETFs that I covered in my dividend ETF last week. So I'm going to go over to funds here, and the first one I'm going to do is VIG. I'm going to add that. Let's go into VYM. All right, and then I'm going to have a SCHD and DGRO. And if you're not familiar with these, or you like some more information, definitely check out my previous video. I'll post at the end of this card describing in depth what each of these ETFs are. And for this one, I am going to add one additional one that I didn't cover in that video, is a HDV. And this is going to be iShares Core High Dividend. And let's go into it. Primarily made up of course, US stocks, and it has, as you can see here, I wish it showed all 10 holdings. Primarily, it's made up of energy. So just a little summary, VIG and DGRO are basically growth stock ETFs. DGRO does Morningstar kind of index, and VIG does the S&P 500. And then VYM and SCHD both look at high dividend yield stocks. VYM is off of the S&P 500, and then SCHD is off of the Dow Jones Dividend Index. So that's a little different between them. And the reason I'm throwing in HDV is just to have energy, because all 4 of those really gear to finance, technology, those type of sectors, while this one is geared to more to energy, just to have something a little different in this competition I'm kind of putting together. All right, so we have that right there, and we'll hit done. So you see right here, everything is 1, so I'm going to set everything up as 20%. All right, so we're at 100, and what I'm going to do every single week is put $10 in and just have it passively. And at the end of the month, when I'm reviewing my Roth IRA, I'll have this at the same, just to give you guys an update on best performing and worst performing. So I'll save there, and I'll confirm. And what I want to do now is deposit. So we'll deposit this week. So you see here, I have the checkings already set up, so I'll choose that. We're already going into the ETF. And you see here, it already set up 100 because that's the lowest you can put in. All right, so we'll continue and continue. Let me rephrase, the lowest you can put in at the beginning. After that 100, as I mentioned, you can just put in as little as $10 if you want. So I'll keep, let's see, I'll turn on auto investing. I'll keep it on. Yep, there we go. And then it's all set to go. So it'll be my Roth IRA, and this portfolio, ETF portfolio, will be passively investing, and then I'm actively investing in my dividend portfolio. As you saw, I pick certain stocks when I think they're at a good value. So if you're thinking about opening an account with M1 Finance, I do have a referral link down below. It's a link sharing different pies, so I'll have all 3 down below. And if you do use one of those, you'll get $50. And I'll get $50 in return. So it'll be a win-win if you open up and invest $100 in. Let me down comment below if you use M1 Finance or you're starting to invest, or what other brokerages you prefer using and why. Interested to know. And once again, on the end card, I'll have my dividend ETFs comparison video. So definitely go check those out. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.